2016, and who would have thunk, in the age of integrated appliances, IP appliances, Internet of Everything, good old fashioned carpet sweeper would still be just as useful today as it's ever been. Fantastic shit. Okay, going back to depression and anxiety again, and work. Now, I'm fortunate enough to be working, and the reason I say fortunate enough is that one of the things that my doctors, my counsellors and various other occupational health and so on have said to me, that I was signed off with severe anxiety and depression for about 5 months. Their recommendation was always to get back to work, was to give you some interactivity, a community of people to talk to, social interactivity, all that sort of stuff was really important to be done to get you back into having a better mood or feeling better about yourself. So that sort of stuff, being back at work, that was the place to do that. You wasn't alone and you wasn't isolated. So it's always recommended that I be back in work. It is good. It's good being back at work. It gives you things to do. You get out of the habit of sitting alone thinking about things. So you do have other things to think about, other things to do. There is a downside to working as well, which, you know, the upsides far outweigh them. You know, the upsides being pay, keeping busy, being able to afford to live, that sort of stuff. The downsides are very selfish ones, really. Things like, I'm now doing the vlogs and I'm enjoying doing these vlogs, but I don't have much time to do them. I work 5 days a week and have a day off in the week and a Sunday off, so I don't get enough time now. Most of my time in the evenings it's dark, no time in the mornings, working 8-9 hour days. You don't get much time to do your vlogs, so that's why this is limited. I would like to have done a lot more than I do. The other thing that is the most important thing for me, as a downside to work, is that my problem, my original severe anxiety and depression I was signed off for, was mainly caused by work. So it was a work-related illness. So going back there would seem a bit odd. Now, they might have said to me, go back to a different job or find something else, but I love the job that I do. It's unfortunate that certain aspects of it made me ill and triggered other illnesses, especially anxiety. Anxiety, more than anything, was definitely work-related, and that's what led to the depression and so on. So there's that downside, but there is benefits as well, and things that keep you going. We've literally just come out of playgroup. It's the middle of November and it's really, really mild. It's such a lovely day. Look at the sky. You wouldn't think it was November at all, especially the days we had a few days ago. I work in retail, and that gives us, we do an 8 or 9 hour shift in a day. We get a half an hour break, so it's 1.5 hour break all day long. In that break you get your lunch, tea, coffee. It's the first time and the only time you get to drink during the day, the only time you get to eat. Now most of that time is actually taken up by going and buying your food, bringing your food back, heating it, making yourself a drink. So realistically you get yourself about 15 minutes a day of rest time or your own time. There aren't any tea breaks like there used to be in the olden days, no morning or afternoon tea. It's just half an hour during a day to have a bit of a rest, which then, as I said, turns out to be about 15 minutes. Now, in one of my earlier blogs I said that there was a pile of magazines down by the side of my desk that I hadn't been able to read, and the reason for that is, again, lack of interest from my depression. But going to work in that short amount of time, whether it be half an hour, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, I have been able to start reading again. So I take the magazines to work. Now I only subscribe to 2 magazines. Evo, subscriber editions, you get different covers. This is the car magazine, as you can see. It's a lovely magazine. I've been reading this since it was performance car back in the day, years ago, in the end of the 80s. I think I started reading this about 88, 87, 88, something like that. Kept going, had every issue since. These magazines, Wired is... Then there's Wired. Wired is everything. Wired's one of the most favourite magazines I've ever read. I'm really pleased that they started doing them again. They did them a while back in the 90s, where it was sort of the Wired US magazines would come over, Wired UK. They then came back a few years ago, and I've bought every issue since. Missed the first issue because I dilly-dallied at the shop. Didn't think it would go out of stock. When I came to buy it, it had gone. But I read this is everything. Technology, science, politics, stories delight. It's a fantastic read. Absolutely love this magazine. Beautifully put together, as is Evo. The 2 magazines I read, the editorials, the way that these things are photographed, the way that they're published on the paper that they use, they're just gorgeous magazines. They're just very well put together. The Evos I tend to read and then I leave them at work or somewhere else. The Wired magazines I tend to keep. So these go up in the loft. I've just put a load in the loft now. I'm still a bit behind. I haven't been reading, so I'm on to the June-July issue, which is at work at the moment. It's not that one. I haven't started that one yet. Now the strange thing is about the magazines and the reading is that I do it at work. When I come home, I've got this big pile of magazines and I can't read them. I just don't have the interest, or I don't know what it is. I just don't be able to read them when I get home. I do find myself doing other things on the computer and maybe watching a bit of TV, but generally speaking I just don't have that much interest. I am a voyeur of information. One of the things I like doing is looking at lots of information about things that interest me, things that fascinate me. And that would be things that I would do on the computer, like I would look at the crime maps on the computer, which I find fascinating, and webcams. I like looking at webcams of cities, places, like the EarthCam network, that sort of stuff, just to see what's going on around in the world, see what the weather's like somewhere else, see what other people are living their lives like. It's quite interesting. Tax evading information. Fascinating really for me, I don't know why. Stuff I can just read through. Really weird. So as a voyeur of information, I like useless information that other people find a bit boring maybe. Just downloaded the MOT app on my phone. For me it's just interesting because I'm really anal like that, I suppose. It gives me MOT information for cars. If I see one in the street, I think, oh, how many miles has it done, or what condition is it? Is it taxed? Or is it still on the road? Whatever. Now that's for my old car that I wrote off. So that's since 2014. Actually, I got rid of this. It was written off in 2010. So I wrote this car off in January 2011. March 2011 it was back on the road. Somebody else then obviously took it upon themselves to buy it and repair it and use it again. A bit unusual. So we're a couple of days after we should have been, and I've eventually managed to get missed off again. As I said, how many have I got this time? I've got 28 tablets. Ta-da! So I should notify myself that in 20 days or less I should ask for some more. So maybe I need to set a calendar reminder on the phone rather than just using it for filming this. Okay, hi again. So my quest for useless information can also, as well as reading it in magazines, I don't read books as such, so anything that I read is either going to be on this computer, on the web pages and stuff that I'll go through and have hundreds of them, loads and loads of favourites, or on one of my, I'll take that on the tablet, sometimes use, but mainly I use the computer. From using the computer I might have another thing open at the same time, and that's where I have this. This was given to me when it was about to be thrown away. They said, oh, we're going to scrap it. I said, well, don't scrap it, I'll have it. It'll be useful. It's a Windows 7 machine. It's a bit of a weird one. It's very thin. They've made it, styled it a bit like a Mac was the idea, but it's all plastic. It's cheaper, a lot cheaper, and it had Windows 7. Now, because it was being thrown away, somebody else's Windows 7 on it, I decided to stick on it Linux. I'm mainly using it as a web browser. It has some nice little apps, one of which is something else I'm into, which was stargazing. There's a nice app called Stellarium, which if you've ever seen it, I use. This is a nice little laptop, to be honest. Downsides to this thing, it's only got one USB port. Headphone socket, one USB port. It has a HDMI port, but it has this really strange power lead port. So the power lead is this long port here, which means if the power pack goes, we're pretty much stuck getting anything else to power it up. One of the other great features of this is that it will actually take a SIM card. So it will actually run as a cellular unit on its own. And pop a SIM card in it, use it on mobile data, which is quite useful. I have found use for it in the past. I did have Kodi installed on it at one point, which I was using the HDMI port, had this connected up to the TV before I got the Amazon Firebox, and was using this for Kodi. The downside to it was somehow managed to crash Kodi on it, or XBMC actually. It's XBMC on this one. Managed to crash that, so that doesn't run anymore, don't know why. But then got the Amazon Fire TV and stuck Kodi on that, and you obviously got it on a Mac. So that's my Sunday lunch taken care of. Or Sunday roast as they call it, except for me it's not been a Sunday roast, it's been a burger, chips, and just opposite oh dear.